Is there anything that is off limits for you in a horror film? Like when you read the script and immediately you're like, nope, not doing that, can't do it.
Yeah, any nudity, love, I'm out. I'm not gonna be giving you that slasher moment running down with you know what I mean, give you the jumbo moment. No, I cannot. That spooks me. That is scary to me.
I thought you were gonna say something about, like, for me it's ghosts and spirits, right? Because I believe in a higher power, so I don't play around with, I thought you were gonna say something like,
but you know, I don't play with the higher
yeah.
power also, so this is also a great point. I do not play with the higher power at all. So I don't want nothing that like, I don't want anything that's like, you know, oh my gosh, we going into the tongues moment and it's like about to be, yeah, I don't want that either.
No spirits, no nudity, got it. So
Yes.
casting directors, y'all see what's going on. I was looking on Instagram and I saw this post that was so cute. It was you and your mom gushing over the billboard.
Oh.
And it's so dope because you've been in this business 20 years, maybe even longer than that, yet you still are able to remain present and take these moments in. How are you able to do that?
You know, I think my parents, they did a great job at just, you know, keeping me grounded, I think, throughout the industry, because it is easy to come up off the ground with, you know, all the different versions of success that I've had that I'm very grateful for. But I think each moment I'm always seeing that there's always new doors to open and new experiences to happen. So I'm always grateful for them. And there's never this expectation of what's going to happen. I'm just always going along for the ride and surprised where God will lead me.
Amen to that, because I'm looking like this ain't Keke's first billboard, but she still has that same energy and excitement. Family still proud as though it was the first. Do you still get excited when you see this kind of stuff?
Absolutely, because there's different scales of it. You know, I'm also an adult. A lot of the different versions of success I've had, I was a kid, so it's kind of also a different introduction to what it means to be a part of something like this as a grown woman. You know what I mean? And then the different, you know, content that I'm dealing with and the conversations that we're having, and the scale of this film. Definitely my first time filming in IMAX. You know, and being a part of a production so expansive. So all those things, I definitely don't take lightly.
What I love about your character in this film, Emerald Haywood, is that even in these serious situations, there are these moments of comic relief. We've seen Jordan Peele do this before in Us and even in Get Out, some of that dry humor, but your character really brings in the levity, even in the most serious situations. Are you like that at all in real life? Like when you're going through some real ish, you still find your sense of humor?
I think so, because I think that's really how life is. You know what I mean? When you're going through scary situations or difficult stuff, there is like levity because the human mind cannot process, you know, some of the crazy situations that we find ourselves in. So the way that we, I think, process, it's obviously person to person, but for me personally, I definitely choose humor. Like that's like my defense mechanism for sure.
I do want to get into the film itself without giving too much away. Had a chance to see it, obviously, amazing. There were so many conversations that I wish I could talk about without revealing too much. One of them is there's this subversive commentary on the culture of Hollywood, like who gets to be on camera, how they're represented, how they're received by the American public. Is there a particular message that comes across in the script that really resonated with you personally?
Sure, I think the greatest part was just like the exploitative nature of our industry and how hard it is to toe the line of being able to be an artist and be creative and be a performer, but also not exploit yourself while doing so, or engaging in the exploitative nature of the industry, still having integrity with what you do share. I think that's just hard. It's difficult. And Stephen Yeun character has a great, you know, he speaks to that commentary in a great way. And then like you said, obviously Emerald and OJ and their piece also speaks to it. But I think that's the biggest thing that I related to personally.
Yeah, when we first meet Emerald, the first sentences out of your mouth are you introducing us to this history of the Haywoods. Can you talk a bit about the history of film? How much of that is true and is a history that I didn't know about that probably a lot of folks watching this movie will never have heard of?
Yeah, as far as I know, it is true that the first, sequential clip, essentially a movie, was a black man on a horse. The first stuntman and star rolled into one. Yeah, I think simply put, that is what it was. And so, yeah, Jordan introduced me to that. And I think it was an integral part that he wanted to put into the Haywood storyline because he wanted to share their richness and also express the erasure of blackness in filmmaking. So I think there are a lot of different levels to that, as well as just also the erasure of people that have something to do with filmmaking that don't always get the shine and the attention because they're doing so much work behind the camera. camera. I think there's a big piece to be said about that too. And personally, for me, the excitement of other people being able to see that and hopefully want to do more work behind the camera, because there's a lot to filmmaking than just being in front of the camera. The greatest power to me that comes into filmmaking is being behind the camera. And I think especially as Black people, a lot of times it's just the performative aspect that you think you're most necessary for. But I love how Jordan showcased that this family has a legacy of doing the work behind the camera, and that's how they were able to sustain.
And you talk about this erasure of Blackness in film. There's also this erasure of Blackness in what we see as cowboy history, right? Like when you think of a cowboy or people who, herd horses and take care of horses, you're not going to think of Black folks. Yet there's this legacy of Black cowboys all the way going back to times of indigenous Americans encountering new settlers and colonists here.
Oh yeah, cowboys, farmers, all type of stuff. Again, Black people are not a monolith. And I think that Jordan does a great job in all of his films. And we have, some other great creators that have been doing a great job at bringing out the diversity of what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like, Black isn't just I listen to hip hop music and know how to do popping and locking. It's not just that. It exists in so many different phases. You think about rock and roll, like Jimi Hendrix, so it's just the truth, that Black people don't exist one way. And so the more diverse filmmakers we have specifically behind the screen, the more opportunity we have for a different perspective of what Black is.
What were your early conversations like with Jordan as this was coming together, even before you guys started filming?
It was a lot about the character. A lot about the themes, spectacle, exploitation, and filmmaking. We spoke a lot about all the different archetypes that he put into the character Emerald, how he really wanted to emerge her with a bunch of different concepts, which I think was really exciting for me to play because she starts out one way in the film. And I remember reading it and being like, this is not what I expected to happen, over the course of the journey of the film with her character. And I was really just shocked by it. And so we talked a lot about that and making sure that we could thread that journey seamlessly. And make sure that change or that turn really comes to the audience as a surprise. That was something that I was really excited about because I never got an opportunity to play a character with so much range,
Speaking of range, do you see yourself getting behind the camera as well and doing some more directing yourself?
Oh my gosh, totally. It's a dream of mine just to do, to be more behind the camera and to also be of assistance to other people like myself, that want to get opportunity to tell a story or create something or be the face of something. All the work that I've done since I was a kid, it's been 20 years in the industry, and I just want to be able to share it and not just be the person in the forefront.
What would a Keke Palmer directed film, what would the storyline of that first film be for you?
It would be something very character driven. I just like good character stories. Like my favorite story growing up was like The Wood or like Goonies. What I loved about Goonies was that it was about kids just being kids and kids enjoying what it meant to be a kid. I always remember the line that Mikey says. He says, right now, down here, this is our time. Up there, it's their time. But down here, it's our time. And it's like, I love just the simplicity of what that means. Taking simple character stories and making them big, in that way, encompassing what it means to be a child. Or when you think about The Wood, what it is to have brotherhood, just to be some brothers in the hood. And yeah, they Black, but it's not attached to oppression, but yet their culture is still alive. It's got a love story to it. It's humorous, and it's also about growing up and growing out of who you thought you were. Or even when I think about Ferris Bueller's Day Off, how it's just about kids, teenagers knowing that they're not going to be teenage forever and they're not going to always be able to be reckless, but to enjoy the moment while they have it and while it lasts. And they'll know when it's time for them to, and also showing the youth in a way that doesn't feel like you're belittling them. That's something that I always loved about John Hughes' work, was that he talked about teenagers like regular people and didn't speak down in the work towards them. Their dialogue was very sophisticated, and they were aware, which I think is why we all cling to his work. So just good character-driven stories that give diversity to young people and people of color.
Listen, what is one thing about Note that you could tell us that won't make sense now, but will make sense once it comes out and when audiences see it?
It's really going to make you look at yourself and your relationship with exploitation, how you exploit yourself, how you exploit others, and our addiction to taking a moment and not just being able to be present with it, but to see what it can offer us.
Gotta ask this because, as you said, you're a powerhouse. You're about to add director to your slate. You're an actress, a singer. You've hosted red carpets for Vogue. You've had interviews go viral, and now you're about to add judge to that list with your work on Legendary.
Yes.
I think decades from now, when people look at Keke Palmer and your career, they're gonna look at you as one of Hollywood's most multifaceted talents. In the future, what do you want people to say about your legacy?
Man, what I want them to say about my legacy is that it wasn't all for nothing. You know, that it set up something for others. You know, that's what I would hope. I would hope that I could leave something behind that didn't just do something for me or something that only I receive accolades and achievements for, but something that people can say, yeah, Keke left this behind, or this is something that we can now benefit from. You know, that's what I would hope,